Hello everyone, this is CRH Films, and these are the first 5 episodes of the Twisted Metal series. A courier with amnesia crosses the entire country, defending himself from bandits, police, and a mad clown. The series takes place in the near future. One day, all computers suddenly crashed. Without such technology, chaos engulfed the planet. Those who survived built walls around surviving cities, driving out criminal elements. The most daring personalities began working as couriers. One such person is John Doe. Skillfully evading pursuit in a shopping center, he arrives at his destination, and from there, he is sent to San Francisco. On the way, he encounters robbers, including a fingerless girl. Later, he dines on seal meat and gazes at an almost burned photograph of a family he can't remember. Upon reaching his destination, he learns that the mayor of the city wants to see him. John agrees to the meeting, but before that, he undergoes complete decontamination. The mayor turns out to be a woman named Raven. She invites him to dinner, where her husband and child are also present. She offers John to deliver an important package to Chicago, and if successful, he will be granted citizenship. John agrees, takes the cargo, and departs. However, all this time, Raven's family was a setup. Meanwhile, in the state of Nevada, a police squad led by Officer Stone catches robbers, a brother and sister. Stone gives them a choice: either both of them die, or someone sacrifices themselves. The brother shoots himself in the forehead, and the sister receives a stamp on her hand. This is the second time she has received such punishment, the first being the amputation of half a finger for theft. Before the challenging journey, John decides to visit a friend on the map. His 3,500-kilometer-long journey begins. Near Vegas, he almost hits a woman standing in the middle of the road. It turns out to be the same robber who lost her brother a few hours ago. They point their weapons at each other, but the discussion is interrupted by a children's melody. A van with ice cream driven by a rather bulky man with a clown mask on his head approaches. The duo aims their guns at the clown, but the pistols are not loaded. While John gets bullets and tries to load the guns, the girl takes advantage of the confusion and steals the car. In the nick of time, John manages to jump into the car. However, it has a coded lock and reluctantly obeys its new owner. They switch places on the go for John to enter the secret combination. The girl keeps John in her sights. He vividly demonstrates the usefulness of seat belts. The clown's van catches up, inviting them to his show, but John starts firing from the machine guns, refusing the invitation. The clown retaliates generously with a hail of bullets, causing John to crash straight into the lobby of one of the casinos. The heroes hear the sweet singing of a sweet tooth approaching. The girl sticks a handle into John's back to have the opportunity to escape. John manages to hide. The robber reveals John's location again with a thrown bottle. A brawl ensues, but the outcome is already known due to the significant difference in the men's builds. The sweet tooth turns on his favorite song, and John begins to hum along. This moves the lark, so he invites John to his show again. Since there is no other way out, John agrees. On the way to the stage, the sweet tooth talks about his past, phenomenal memory, a friend in the form of a paper bag, and love for the theater. Later, the sweet tooth shows the robber trapped in a giant aquarium. The madman wants to starve her. She shows John's car keys, and the man suggests releasing her, as it will double the audience. The sweet tooth agrees and lets the girl go. He changes clothes and serves a meal at the table, after which the performance begins. However, the show is so bad that the audience almost falls asleep. Towards the end, the sweet tooth asks for feedback. When John says he liked everything, the sweet tooth is filled with hatred due to the guest's dishonesty. He almost doesn't kill John when suddenly the girl leaves an honest review. The performance is a complete failure. They need to expand the audience. Instead of waiting for someone to come here, they should travel to cities with performances. Satisfied with the honest review, the sweet tooth releases John and the robber, but not before giving them a drawing with an autograph. At the same time, a group of cannibals is preparing to have 2 men, Mike and Stu, for dinner. However, the cooking process is interrupted by the arrival of Officer Stone's squad. When the officer learns that these 2 are scouts, he offers them to join his squad or go on their own without supplies. The men choose the first option. During Stu's initiation, he can't bring himself to shoot the marauder, so he asks Mike to do it for him. After that, they are sent to a checkpoint, where John soon arrives with his new companion. She recognizes the law enforcement officer who detained her, so she gets out of the car with a weapon in her hands. The woman immediately feels the full power of the stun gun, just like John, who follows her. They are arrested and taken inside Hoover Dam, where the licensing office for unrestricted travel across the country is located. While searching the car, Stu finds a map with the locations of all Officer Stone's checkpoints. The news doesn't please the policeman. He interrogates the detainees to find out the author of this map, but John doesn't want to betray his friend, and the girl simply spits in the officer's face. He orders an enthusiastic interrogation, which includes filling out a pile of documentation under loud music, a kind of shower, and an eye check. But even after such pressure, John doesn't reveal the name of the cartographer. Stone's patience runs out, leading him to pronounce a verdict on both. The punishment is called the Red Line. They are taken to the waiting room, and later, Stu leads the detainees to undergo the punishment. The Red Line ends right in front of the door with bloodstains and bullet holes. Behind the door is an abyss that the heroes must bend over. The duo refuses to go towards death, ignoring the gun threats from Stu. John realizes that the policeman lacks the courage to shoot them, so he suggests escaping together. After that, they head to the warehouse. While John looks for the car keys, the robber takes her brother's costume and with a gun in hand, goes to Officer Stone's office. There she sees his assistant, who, due to a lack of female attention, decided to satisfy himself. She beats him to death with the gun handle, after which she notices Stone's headquarters marked on the map, located in the city of Topeka. Back in the garage, she helps start the car. However, the suddenly opened trunk puts Stu in an unconscious state. Later, his colleagues find him, not very pleased with such a situation. The robber suggests to John to stop by Topeka on the way, saying that they can rest there before Chicago. However, she doesn't mention that Stone's headquarters are there. At night, trucks surround the car, forcing John to drive into one of the trailers. There, the mechanic of this mobile city, Watts, awaits him. She introduces them to the leader of the convoy, known as Grandma. The old woman asks John to deliver medicine to her, and in return, she will receive weapons for her car. There's also a gift for Mute, a stylish finger prosthesis. The next day, they arrive at the doctor's. The phytotherapist treats the guests to a hallucinogenic drink, thinking they are religious fanatics. A gang that likes to marauder in these parts. Thanks to the letter from Grandma, John manages to convince them that they really came for medicine. On the way back, the duo almost falls into the hands of the same religious fanatics. They have to hide in the cinema building. John turns on a movie, but due to broken speakers, the heroes have to voice the movie themselves. In the morning, John decides to wash his brother's blood from her jacket, but the Quiet doesn't like it. Later, returning to the convoy, they learn that Grandma needs herbs for painless euthanasia. Everyone bids farewell to the old woman, after which her car is lowered from the trailer and blown up. Watt starts upgrading John's car, installing maximum weapons. The next day, John and the Quiet move on. The man doesn't suspect that the girl stole poisonous herbs from the doctor. During a break, she mixes it into John's drink, causing him to lose consciousness. She leaves a note about the purpose of her visit to Topeka and goes to the city. The Quiet quietly gets into the patrol car and effortlessly enters Officer Stone's outpost. Killing the police officers, she rides around in search of Stone and talks to the imaginary ghost of her brother. Near Stone's monument, she is noticed by a guard, so Quiet tries to leave the city as quickly as possible. However, she hears Stone's voice over the loudspeaker, proposing to settle all disputes one-on-one in an abandoned amusement park. The duel takes place in cars, with Stone coming out as the winner. The officer drives Mute's overturned car to put a bold end to this confrontation. But in a moment, his car explodes. It's John who came to help despite all the girls' schemes. Meanwhile, Sweet Tooth arrives at Hoover Dam. The clown doesn't have a pass, but he has a new show program. He elegantly gets rid of the policeman and penetrates inside, where he kills the rest of the law enforcement officers. Sweet Tooth releases all the prisoners. Afterwards, they applaud him, uplifting the mood of the creative personality. Stu and Sweet Tooth quickly become friends. The clown offers Stu to travel with him. The man agrees and promises to show all the checkpoints where Sweet Tooth can free law-abiding victims, perform his shows, and, most importantly, gain new fans. This concludes the first half of the series.